It's time for the 420 Radio News, covering the latest headlines in consumer cannabis, medical marijuana, and industrial hemp. Transcripts of 420 Radio News are available daily on our website at 420radio.org. Now, here's Russ Belville with your marijuana headlines in 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
This is your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, February 24th, 2015. It's not worth it, Colorado Attorney General Cynthia Coffman told dozens of fellow states' attorneys general at a conference in the nation's capital, referring to the $76 million in taxes and fees collected from pot sales last year. The recently inaugurated Republican rebuked legalization advocates' long-standing argument that regulating sales will eliminate the black market for marijuana and associated criminal activity, saying, quote, "Don't buy that argument. The criminals are still selling on the black market. We have plenty of cartel activity in Colorado and plenty of illegal action that has not decreased at all," end quote. Mason Tvert, the Colorado-based communications director of the Marijuana Policy Project, said Coffman's remarks about black market sales are counterintuitive, saying, quote, "If hundreds of millions of dollars in marijuana sales are taking place in licensed businesses, where would they be taking place if they were illegal?" End quote. Smoking, growing, and possessing marijuana became legal in Alaska today, thanks to a voter initiative aimed at clearing away 40 years of conflicting laws and court rulings. Initiative backers promised Native leaders that communities could still have local control under certain conditions, but the initiative did not provide clear opt-out language for tribal councils and smaller communities, forcing each one to figure out how to proceed Tuesday. November's initiative also banned smoking in public, but didn't define what that means, and lawmakers left the question to the Alcohol Regulatory Board, which planned to meet early today to discuss an emergency response. Police Chief Mark Mew said his officers in Anchorage will be strictly enforcing the public smoking ban. He even warned people against smoking on their porches if they live next to a park. Former television reporter Charlo Green, now CEO of the Alaska Cannabis Club, is having a grand opening on today in downtown Anchorage. Also in Alaska, Governor Bill Walker introduced a bill Monday that would create a marijuana control board in charge of regulating the industry in the state and giving the board the power to enforce its laws. Senate Bill 60 would create a new board housed under the State Department of Commerce, Community, and Economic Development. The director and staff of the State Alcoholic Beverage Control Board would also serve the 5-member Marijuana Control Board so that the new board could, quote, "benefit from the considerable experience and expertise of the ABC board," end quote, Walker said in his transmittal letters to the legislature. A 5-member volunteer board would be comprised of 1 member from the public safety sector, 1 from the public health sector, 1 from a rural area, 1 or 2 from the marijuana industry, and 1 or 2 from the general public. The board members would be appointed by the governor and serve staggered 3-year terms. Lawmakers are considering a measure to legalize marijuana in Maryland. The Marijuana Control and Revenue Act of 2015 will be discussed at a hearing before the House Judiciary Committee. The measure is sponsored by Baltimore Delegate Kurt Anderson, who is hoping the 3rd time is a charm. Delegate Anderson tried twice before, and both measures failed. This year's proposal, like the others, would allow adults 21 years or older to legally possess 1 ounce of marijuana, even grow up to 6 plants at home. The bill would tax and regulate marijuana just like alcohol. It would require the state comptroller to establish rules and regulations for the operation of cultivation facilities, product manufacturers, and retailers. The proposed legislation would also create an oversight commission to monitor marijuana businesses. Proponents say the measure could be a long shot, but they're hoping lawmakers will be swayed by a recent poll showing 53% of Marylanders support legalizing marijuana. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine on Monday rejected a proposed constitutional amendment that would legalize marijuana use in Ohio. Political Action Committee Responsible Ohio is pitching a legal, medical, and recreational marijuana industry with pot supplied from 10 specific growing sites, which have been promised to wealthy campaign backers. Taxes collected from sales at every level of the supply chain would provide revenue for local governments. DeWine's rejection is somewhat of a moot point. Responsible Ohio announced last week it would be submitting a new amendment and summary. The revised language allows adults over age 21 to grow up to 4 flowering plants for personal use as long as they apply for a license. If approved, the group must then collect more than 305,000 signatures of voters by July 1st to put the issue on the November ballot. This has been your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, February 24th, 2015. I'm Russ Belville.